In today's video, I'll be doing a complete guide on Create Numismatic, which is a Create mod add-on that adds currency, item vendors, as well as a banking system into the game. Very useful for multiplayer servers with Create mod. And without further ado, let's get started. To start off, we'll first take a look at the currency in this mod. We have a spur, bevel, sprocket, cog, crown, and sun, with sun being the largest currency and spur being the smallest currency. If you hover over the item, you will see that the bevel will be equal to 8 spur, the sprocket will be equal to 16 spur, a cog will be equal to a stack of spur, and the crown will be equal to 8 stacks of spur, and the sun being 64 stacks of spur. Once you have obtained this currency, you can go into a bank terminal, and by simply right clicking it, you will open your personal account, which you can see on the top with your username as your account and the total balance of your bank terminal. You can to insert your currency into your bank account, you can just simply put it in and it'll show up as all of these different currencies, which simply allows you to convert one currency to another. So for example, when I put in 32 sprockets, I'll be able to get 1 crown, and if I put in 1 crown, I can also get 64 bevels, or I can get a bunch of spurs. After putting in all of your currency into your bank account, you'll see the total balance on the top, and that's about all that you do with the bank terminal for now. The next things we're gonna look at is the andesite and brass depositor. These blocks will allow you to deposit a set amount of a currency to give off a redstone signal. Unfortunately, they only give off a 1-tick pulse, which probably is not enough for anyone to go through a door or something. So it will be better that you have a redstone repeater or the pulse extender from the Create mod to allow the redstone signal to be open for a lot longer. To configure the depositors, you simply have to right click the top of the block. So on the top, you'll be able to open this GUI where you can configure the price of your depositor. For the andesite one, you can only decide which currency you would like to accept, and whatever you choose, it will accept one of it. Compared to the brass one, you have a lot more control where you can select an exact value of each currency for a very precise amount. After someone has used the depositor, the currency will be stored at the bottom over here. As you can see, there are 2 spurs currently stored in here. You don't need to worry about others stealing your coins because only you, like the person who placed down the depositor, can actually open this GUI. Anyone else who right click it will not be able to access any of the settings in here. However, if you wish to allow your teammate, your friends to also be able to access the currency stored within a depositor, then you have to use the trust list. To use that, you will first need to get a bunch of ID card. Now this card is red, but any color will do, and all you need to do is simply hold the card and right click. Now it will set bound to self at the bottom here, and if you hover over it, it will also say bound to your player username. Now you will need to also give these ID card to all of your friends who would also like to access it, and they should all right click as well and give you the card. And once you've received all of your friends' card, you can simply open into this GUI once again, click on this menu over here, and insert all of their ID cards into the trust list. And now all of the people who are in the trust list will be able to open and configure the depositor. The same works for the brass depositor, where the button is on the bottom left over here. You may have noticed that when you have configured the depositor to accept a certain value, if you right click it with a different value, for example a sprocket, it will also say insufficient funds. That's because it doesn't know how to recognize other items within your inventory, so it will not automatically take it. One way to fix this and make your life slightly easier is to use a card. Once again, this card is red, but any color will do. All you need to do is simply right click. Once again, it will say bound to self after you right click the card. And now, as long as your bank account has any currency, you can right click with your card and it will automatically open and use currency directly from your personal account. So far, I've shown you how you can share a depositor with a bunch of your friends through a trust list. But what if you also want to share an account, unlike a personal one, but a combined account with a bunch of friends so that you all share the same amount of currency, like a co-op or a guild? Then you'll need a blaze burner as well as this banking guide. So what you want to do is get your banking guide and right click it on the create blaze burner to turn it into a blaze banker, which gives him this very cool top hat. What you can do now is right click on the banker and you'll see that it has once again the trust list UI, a card accepting area, and a name. The name of the blaze will be the name of your account, so you might want to change the name to, like, I don't know, Droid Co-op. And so now this account over here will be an account for your co-op. Well, it's only the name. And once again, what you want to do is get ID cards for you and a bunch of your friends, so ask them all to right click on their card and give it to you. And what you can do is put all of those cards into this list over here. Once you've done that, you want to get a bunch of blank cards. And what you need to do is open your blaze and put your card into this slot right here. Once you've put it in, it will automatically set bound to Droid Co-op or whatever name you have. And you want to repeat this a bunch of times so that you can give each of your co-op member a copy of the card so that they can all share this brand new account. And now, for example, if you use this Droid Co-op card and right click a bank terminal, you'll see that instead of my personal username, so DroidPlays08, it will now call Droid Co-op, and currently we have absolutely nothing. So this allows you to have multiple different accounts for different purposes. So if I just take a bunch of currencies from my personal account and I open this co-op account and insert them in, the co-op now can all share these currency together. Now that you have obtained bank cards for yourself or your group, you can also use it to automatically extract funds that you have collected in your depositor by putting it into the slot over here. This means that whenever the depositor collects any money, it'll automatically transfer it to the account that the card is bound to, which just simply removes the hassle of you constantly running around clicking any depositor and collecting the money yourself. Finally, we'll take a look at the vendors. So to use it, there's actually two ways. There's a selling one and a buying one. The one on the right sells you 16 andesite alloy, and if I use my own account, I can just pay the money using my bank card and purchase andesite alloy. And for the one on the left, it buys andesite alloy and gives you currency in exchange. So if I right click it with my andesite alloy, I'll be able to get a crown. Unfortunately, you will have to right click it with your item and not your card. So the currency, you will still have to deposit it using a bank terminal over there. So the way you set this up will be as follows. You first need your vendor, whatever you're selling. So this time I'll be selling some redstone block and, well, a card, just so that you can automatically transfer all the money you've collected into your bank account. First thing you want to do is place down your vendor. And now you need to shift right click the vendor to open the GUI. Now once again, this vendor you place down, only you can access, so anyone else who walk past, even if they shift click, they will not be able to open this GUI. Unless you put them in the trust list on the bottom left button, then they will also be able to access it. The UI is very simple. We have a sell mode and a buy mode. The sell one sells you an item and takes money, and the buy one takes an item and gives the whoever's using it money back. Over down here is the item to trade. This is not only the item that will be shown on the vendor, but also the exact amount that you're selling. So don't just go put one there and think, oh, I'm gonna sell a stack. If you want to sell a stack, you will have to put an entire stack into this slot. The amount doesn't matter in the slots here. And in here we have 9 inventory space of stock, so you can just put your stock into here. And over here you can configure how much it costs. So for example, I'm going to say it costs 1 crown and 1 bevel. And once again, this is the storage area for the fund. However, if you do have a bank card, then you can simply put the card into the slot and any fund it collects will be automatically transferred into the bank card. And just like that, I can now purchase the redstone block just by right clicking with my bank card. Now you will notice that there's only 9 stock, like 9 inventory space. So how can you automatically restock it? And it's actually quite simple. Any of the create or vanilla item transportation methods will just work over here. So you can just shift right click a hopper there, and if you put in some redstone block, it will automatically be transferred in here. This also works for chutes and funnels and stuff like that. One thing to do keep in mind is that if your item is gone in the item to trade slot, all of the stock will automatically pop out of the inventory space. So be careful about that. And once there's no item inside the item to trade slot, the whatever item you have, so hopper or your funnel, will not transport any item into the stock. The stock is simply unreachable. You can't even put it in manually. You need to have something inside this item to trade slot before anything can be inserted into a vendor. And that is all for Create Numismatic. One thing I do want to say is that there's currently no way to obtain the currency in survival mode. These must be spawned in by a player in creative or an admin of the server. So there will be a little bit of admin and creative mode influence in order for the mod to work. However, this is still a very well made mod and I really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye now.